G'day again YouTube, just a quick update on my 1989 Volvo B10M Mark II with PMC Metro 90 bodywork that I'm getting ready to re-enter it into service with my business. So what I'm pretty much doing is doing a custom charter party bus, and a few things I'm doing before it goes into service is along the channels where it goes from the carpet to the metal, I'm going to be putting LED RGB light strips all the way down on both sides, front to rear. I've ordered the two 10-metre strips, so that should cover the 11-metre or 11.5-metre bus, leaving enough room at the front so it doesn't bother the driver. I'm also in the process of replacing the speakers because the old Clarion units that are in it are stuffed. Only 3 of them work out of the 6. And in addition to that, on top of putting the RGB LED light strips along the roof, I will be putting on the parcel racks underneath on both sides some RGB coloured net lights, like the mesh lights, so that way both down the length of the bus and under the parcel racks will have a bit of colour, as well as, depending on how they look, I will also be putting another strip of RGB LED light strips along the rails that the seats bolt to, the whole length. So on this edge here, front to rear, either on there or actually tucked up underneath and down, so that way they shoot down onto the floor. So I'm going to be doing that, so that way by the time they're all in, the lights will probably stop about in line with this front light at the front. So I'm going to try and finish them up at this seam here, which will then allow me to put blackout curtains behind the driver's seat and on this side and in the aisle if needed. So that way at night, if I have the LED party lights on, they can be on and the passengers can enjoy them without affecting the driver. So it's going to have the strips LED RGB lights up top, some facing down, so that way it gives like a star effect, and then some down on the floor, and possibly a few other bits and bobs to make it look like a nice party bus, as I'm aiming to have it as a charter bus like this by day and a party bus by night when required, like for bucks and hens nights and pub crawls and whatnots. As I've also got my Bluetooth esky in, which the bus was originally a 57-seater, like a 57 passenger plus 1 driver, so 58 seats in total. But when I bought it, I only had these 4 seats at the front. But when I went to pull this front seat out, the weld had cracked on one of the brackets, which actually bolt into the side. So because it broke and I couldn't get it re-welded, I just left it out and put the esky in place. So in total it's now a 55 passenger with 1 driver, so 56 seats total, instead of a 57 passenger with 1 driver being a 58 seat total. So I've only lost 2 seats total, which I'm happy about, but it's gained an esky for like the pub crawls, sports clubs and all that sort of stuff. And in addition, I've also put couple of bins under the seats that are facing back to back, because I ended up having to buy all the green seats to put back into it, because from this row back they were missing, so because the people they bought it off were going to convert the bus into a motorhome, so, and they ended up selling it cheap because of change of plans. So I ended up buying, I think it was about 40 seats total, like individual seats for $100 delivered locally here in Port Macquarie. So what I've done is, instead of having all of them face forward like they originally were, because originally these seats were facing forward when it had all blue seats, so all would have been like that, but I put 2 facing rearwards, so that way it's like a little communal seat for like families that have kids, and that the parents can keep an eye on the kids face to face. And then the rest I've put forward facing in the original locations. And then again at the rear I've done 2 more rear ones using 2 of the original blue seats which came with the bus but were loose, and 2 green seats facing forward, and the original blue back seat. And then to keep everything happy, like with the current situation with COVID, I've got my QR codes which are now mandatory for New South Wales to check in, even though I'll be a charter bus and it's not required as yet, where party buses are. I've got them anyway, as well as the GPS tracker thing to say that it's been GPS tracked, the square info for the FPOS, emergency exit details, and the general stuff. And as well as on the back of the seats, they were fake 80s laminate wood style, sort of like that, but I've repainted them in a gloss black, so that way it sort of gets rid of the fake 80s look and brings it a bit more modern. So that way it hasn't got 50 million types of finishings in it, because it kind of ties in well with the old Transport for New South Wales blue walls, because this bus was originally operated by Transdev and contracted by Transport for New South Wales for the New South Wales government, which is why it's got the blue walls. So the blue, the black and the green tend to tie in together, and in addition to that, the bit of yellow on the treads, so the blue, the green, the yellow, that actually ties in with the Port Macquarie Hastings Council logo, which is the area that it will be operating in the Port Macquarie Hastings area. So it sort of ties in. And in addition to that, what I'm going to do with local businesses, if they want to, I'm going to get them to supply or buy a decal off them. I'll be putting them up on the headboard so that way it can promote their businesses. So I've got plenty of room there, so eventually I'll have all that filled up with decals or business cards from local businesses around the Hastings area and places I've visited with the bus. And my driver authority will sit into there, and just a quick bit of info for saying that it's got the CCTV, which is actually, there's one camera there, one there for acting as a dash cam, and then 2 more will actually be mounted up on the top corners facing out, so it's down the side of the bus. A typical sign that was already on the bus when I got it. A couple other signs that I got because I used to live in Blaxland, bus driver, the fire extinguisher, because it's down there, as well as the info for the first aid, which is in there. And a few other bits and bobs, as well as the zero tolerance policy, which pretty much says our staff aren't and passengers not here to suffer abuse or violence of any type. So any of that, there is zero tolerance. So anyone that's actually abusive towards passengers or the staff on board, be it the driver or an offsider, they will be immediately asked to alight at the next safest location. So be it a service station, service centre, a rest area or whatever. If they abuse any passengers or staff, they will be asked to get off in a safe location. So pretty much, other than that, without looking into the boot at the moment, that's pretty much the update of the bus. And it's going to be a custom charter / party bus, and hopefully within the next few weeks it will be registered and on the road. I am just waiting to do my accreditation, which I was supposed to do on the 20th of July, but due to the current COVID situation in Sydney, that exam was cancelled by the University of Sydney and delayed until further notice. So I'm just waiting to do that, and then once that's done, the bus will be accredited and then registered, insured, and then on the road. So I think it's time to wrap this video up because we're already at 12 minutes. So enjoy the rest of the day, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.